Do you have debt? Well, you're not alone. In fact, the average American carries about $63,000 in total debt, and for many, that includes over $7,300 in credit card balances, with interest rates averaging more than 20%. Debt puts a huge weight on your shoulders. The stress of making payments every month on top of regular bills can affect your mental health, strain your relationships, and take away from the overall quality of your life. I started in my early 20s with $30,000 in student loan debt after paying it off in just 2.5 years on a $40,000 salary fresh out of university. And today I want to share what worked for me. Now, being debt-free, aside from my mortgage, has given me the greatest peace of mind. It allowed me to take risks like starting my business and to prioritize other aspects of my life like saving for retirement. If you want to get out of the debt cycle, here are 6 ways to pay off your debt twice as fast. 1. Know your why. Paying off debt isn't just about numbers. It's a mindset shift. Getting into debt often starts with a psychological habit. Maybe it's credit card purchases, personal lines of credit, or even a car you can't really afford. At first, it doesn't feel like a big deal. You get the satisfaction of buying what you want. But debt compounds quickly, especially at 20% credit card interest. Before you know it, the interest alone can cost as much as the thing you originally bought, which can now be sitting in the back of your closet. Debt also makes it harder to qualify for things that do matter, like a mortgage, and it slows down saving for retirement. So ask yourself, why am I spending the way I do? Is it actually bringing me joy or just giving me a temporary high followed by guilt and stress? Instead, picture where you'd rather be. Do you want the freedom to quit a job you hate and start a business, buy your first home, have peace of mind, or simply have the financial space to make life choices without money being the biggest factor? For me, when I was paying off my student loans, my motivator was for the opportunity to travel and become a homeowner one day. When you're clear on your why, it's easier to stay focused and motivated. 2. Get your ducks in a row. You can't change what you don't know. Start by writing down your total debt, your interest rates, minimum payments, and due dates. And if you want a template to organize everything, make sure to stay until the very end to get your free Conquer Debt template. By having all your debt in one place, you will get a clear snapshot of where you are on your debt journey. How much do you actually owe? How much interest are you paying? I know this part can feel scary. You might be tempted to avoid looking at the numbers, hoping you could just shove it under the bed and not worry about it. But here's the truth. Once you actually face it, it's not as bad as you imagined. As Spence Johnson from Who Moved My Cheese put it, what you are afraid of is never as bad as what you imagine. The fear you let build up in your mind is worse than the situation that actually exists. And even if it is tough, clarity gives you control. Avoiding it doesn't make the problem go away. It just takes away your power to fix it. So take the leap, get organized, and then you'll be ready to. 3, create a game plan. Once you know your numbers, you can be strategic instead of just making minimum payments or paying things off randomly. By being intentional, you can fast track your debt payoff and even cut the timeline in half. As Benjamin Franklin put it, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. There are 2 main methods to tackle debt. The first is the avalanche method. Pay off the highest interest rate first. Once that's gone, move on to the next highest. This saves you the most money in the long run. The second one is the snowball method. Pay off the smallest balance first. Knocking it out quickly gives you the momentum and motivation, even if it's not the most efficient mathematically. You know yourself best. Do you thrive on logical savings, or do you need those quick wins? Motivation, both from your why and from seeing real progress, matters more than the method itself. 4, make sacrifices for now. Paying off debt faster means freeing up extra money, and that comes from either cutting spending or increasing income. One of the fastest ways to cut spending is on eating out, whether that's ordering Uber Eats, grabbing takeouts at the office, or going out to restaurants. You might be shocked at how much you spend on food conveniences. When I was paying off my student loans, I prioritized meal prepping. 10 years ago, I spent just $50 a week making simple but healthy meals. And to be honest, I can't really vouch for the taste, but it got the job done. Even if you're not much of a cook, these days you can find tons of quick and tasty 60-second recipes online. And for me, the habit has stuck. I still rely on cooking simple meals, not only for my health, but also to keep saving money long term. Remember, cutting back doesn't have to be forever. It's a temporary lifestyle change for a better future. Think of it as working harder now for a more comfortable, stress-free later. On the income side, get creative. Pick up overtime at work, drive for Uber, rent out a spare room, freelance your skills, or even start a side hustle. Every extra dollar you earn and put towards debt is doing double duty, cutting down your balance and saving you from paying more interest. That means you'll become debt-free faster, and with every payment, you're one step closer to creating the life that you actually want. 5. Create milestones. Debt payoff is a long journey, so you need to stay motivated. Set milestones like paying off $5,000 or clearing an entire credit card and celebrate them. Your reward doesn't have to be expensive. Maybe it's treating yourself to your favorite meal, a small shopping trip, or a fun night out with your friends. The key is to acknowledge your progress while keeping your bigger goal in mind. For me, the milestone I set while paying off my student loans was that once I was debt-free, I would move abroad, and I did exactly that. I spent 6 months preparing, and the month I made my last student loan payment, I booked a one-way ticket to Korea where I lived and worked for almost 3 years. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. So what milestone will you set once you pay off your debt? Let me know in the comment section down below. 6. Budget smarter. I know budgeting doesn't sound exciting. You might even feel resistant to it. But if stress-free money and financial freedom are important to you, budgeting is a non-negotiable. And if you really want to accelerate your debt payoff, budgeting is crucial for knowing how much is coming in and how much is going out and how much you can realistically put towards your debt. At a simple level, you could use the bucket method. For example, 50% towards essentials, 30% towards wants, and 20% towards savings. On a $60,000 salary, that looks like $30,000 for essentials, $18,000 for wants, and $12,000 for savings and debt. But if debt payoff is a priority, you might shift that to something like 55-45, where 50% is towards essentials, 5% towards wants, and 45% towards debt. And if you want to go deeper, create a detailed monthly budget. Track your income, expenses, and savings rate. Then play with the numbers. How much faster can you pay off debt if you caught $200 from Uber Eats, or if you added $500 a month by freelancing on Upwork? If you want a step-by-step guide, make sure to check out my video linked over here, along with a Conquer Debt and budgeting template in the description box below. Debt doesn't have to control your life. By knowing your why, getting organized, creating a plan, making temporary sacrifices, rewarding milestones, and budgeting smarter, you could cut your debt payoff in half and start building the life you actually want. And if you want a step-by-step guide on budgeting, make sure to check out my video over here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!